Hi, and welcome to our Retired Nomad Adventures.
I'm Retired Rick.
And I'm Daphne, and in today's video, we are going to talk to you about the second half of our 2025 year plans. So last week we talked to you about our travel plans for the first half of the year, where we are traveling through Southeast Asia. And in today's video, we're going to take you through the second half of the year, the second 6 months, which is going to involve Italy and Turkey.
Sounds great.
And so it's important to remember that we are retired nomad travelers. We travel the world 1 month at a time, typically staying in Airbnbs and typically staying about 28 days in each place. And then the one thing that doesn't ever change is that our budget is $5,000 a month. So whatever we do, we try to do it within that $5,000 budget.
So far, we've been okay with it, but we'll see what happens on this next leg.
Yeah, you'll see when we talk about costs here today. So one of the things that we like to do is we travel plan 6 months at a time. We get down to the nitty gritty of 6 months at a time, but we also have the big picture of the entire year. So this year we knew we were going to Southeast Asia, and so that was going to be a lower cost destination. And so then we coupled that with a higher cost destination of Italy. And so Italy, this year in particular, it's the year of the Jubilee, so everything is really expensive. We also know it's probably going to be very crowded, but we knew that we were going to a low-cost destination the first 6 months, so then we planned a higher-cost destination for the last 6 months.
And in our travels, what we've realized that we need to do was, when Daphne retired, we made sure we had an account set aside that we could draw from that account to pay for Airbnbs, hotels, flight costs, anything like that. And then what we do is we replenish that throughout the year. So at the beginning of the year, we might bring that account down to zero. And each month we have to, if we've already paid for that month, then we're going to replenish whatever we paid in advance. We're going to put money back into that account, so that way the next time we need to draw from that account, we can have money that we can pay for up front, or sometimes we pay at the resort or at the hotel or whatever. But for the most part, we try to pay up front, but we also make sure we have places that we rent is refundable, where we can cancel like 48 hours.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that's really nice that we've heard lots of people say that they need to do a little juggling around because it's hard to book a whole year at one time because you're paying all those costs up front. So we save for that in the beginning, and then we pay ourselves back every month, so then the following year we can do the same thing. And so far that's been working.
It's been working. It's still hard to juggle around,
yes.
But we're getting good at juggling.
Okay, so let's see. Also, what was cool about doing Italy and Turkey is that it's so wildly different than where we will have been in Southeast Asia. So,
yes.
So we're doing two completely different kinds of experiences for those 6 month chunks at a time. All right, so let's start talking about costs.
Fun.
So the first thing that we needed to look at was our flights. So the first flight that we booked using points. And our flight over was a total of 49,000 points for both of us. And then we paid to upgrade our seats, and we paid for taxes and fees. And so what dollar amount it cost us was $612 for our flight out.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, that was fine.
Flying over.
And then our flight home to Seattle was a total. This one was
I like this one.
Well, because it is really.
It's great.
So we paid a total of 220,000 points. So that's a lot of points.
Right.
But that's for business class seats for the whole flight. And then we paid $1,050 in taxes and fees, which is more than anything that we've ever paid before in taxes and fees. But I went on. It's a British Air flight, so I went on to the airline and looked up the cost of the flight. And so I asked Rick to guess how much he thought the cost of those business class flights would be.
I had a way low guess.
If we paid with cash. And so you guessed.
I guessed like $4,000 a person.
Yeah. So it ended up being that it would have been $15,000 if we paid for cash for those flights. Right. And instead we did the 220,000 points and then $1,050 in fees.
Perfect.
So I feel like we could count that as a win, right?
Win-win. I'm counting it as a win.
Okay. So those are that's our flight transportation, and then the other big expense and then big transportation that we have is we're going to call this repositioning. I don't know if they would actually call it a repositioning.
We'll call it repositioning.
Yeah,
cruise.
so we're taking an 11-night cruise from Venice to Istanbul. So it's an 11-night cruise, and it stops in Turkey, Greece, Montenegro, Croatia, Slovenia, and Italy. So we get to stop in all kinds of cool places. I think there's only one day that we're not in port somewhere. And what I loved about this one is like Croatia, Montenegro, there were places that we think we might like to go for a longer term stay.
But it'd be nice to check it out first for
to have a
day.
quick dip in there and be able to check it out and just see. So I feel really excited about this cruise. And then
with that, we decided that once a year we'll kind of splurge on either a stay a place that we're staying at, or a cruise or something. And this is kind of our splurge. We're paying a little more than we normally would, but it kind of all averages out.
Yeah, and my sister's going to. My sister and another couple are going to join us on this cruise, so that also feels extra exciting. So I also think that one thing we're going to have to save some money for is excursions. We'll be doing excursions that we may not have done if other people weren't with us, but because we get to experience it with someone else, we're going to do all the things. Okay, so this is not an inexpensive cruise. We got an inside cabin, which we've never stayed in an inside cabin before, so we'll see what that's like. We did, though, have Wi-Fi is included, gratuities are included. A couple of specialty restaurants are included in this, and the drink package is included in this. And then also we get some excursion credits. And so the total cost for both of us for an 11-night cruise is $4,620. So not terrible.
Not terrible.
But definitely not.
Like I know a vacation, vacation. So
I've heard people talk about like if you can get your cruise for $100 a day, then you're really then it's a good price. That's not the case here.
Definitely not.
But I'm happy with that, and I feel excited about it. All right, so then the rest of transportation for us is like within Turkey, we'll be taking an overnight bus, which we've never done before.
That'll be exciting.
It'll be well, people. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll be bringing you all of this, but we'll do an overnight bus.
If anything, it's content.
That's right. We also will do
in-country flights.
Flights, yes. And then in Italy, we don't have any in-country flights, but we do have several trains from one location to the other. And then the total cost for all of that came to
$630.
Yeah.
So for both of us.
Mm-hmm, yeah, so that's not bad. Okay, so let's start with what we're going to do in Italy. So in Italy, we'll be going to Venice, Rome, and Florence. And so let's talk about Venice. So Venice, we have an Airbnb booked, and it's for 5 people. So it's my sister and the other couple who we're going on the cruise with. It's a beautiful Airbnb. It's right on the Grand Canal. Rick, we all have our own bedrooms, and then Rick and I will share a bathroom with my sister. The location and the views of this are just beautiful. Wait till you see this. It has a 4.96 rating and with 51 reviews, and so we feel like that's good. It has a washer and a dryer, and a washer. We always say we need a washer, but in particular, we'll need a washer here because we'll need a washer because it sounds like the heat's going to be a washer, and then we have an air conditioner. And so our portion of those, so we're staying there for 3 nights, and our portion of those 3 nights is $829. So again, keep in mind it's the year of the Jubilee, and this is still part of our splurge with my family. So you can already see it's a good thing that we save some money in Asia because we'll be using it here. All right, let's talk about Rome next. The Airbnb in Rome is for a total of 29 nights. And then I just want to say I got a 45% discount on the Airbnb, and the discount came to $1,826.
Fantastic.
So the total cost for the Airbnb is $2,165.
That's really good.
I feel like yes. Yeah. Round of applause. Remember, this is the year of the Jubilee, and it's in Rome. Like that's no joke. Okay, so it has all the things we look for. It's got the Airbnb. It's got the air, washer, dryer, balcony. Even this one has a cute little garden area. There are restaurants and coffee shops kind of right at our doorstep, and it's only a 15-minute walk to the Colosseum from this Airbnb. So nice. So it's a simple one. It's not super fancy, but it has everything that we need. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. And then in Florence, we booked for 30 nights, and we received a $493 monthly stay discount. And the total cost for our time in Florence is $2,343. Yeah. Again, this is a small...
It's a little more expensive than we would like, but
But
still,
for the year of the Jubilee
yes,
in Italy, again, I
Exactly.
don't know that there's actually a shoulder season in Italy anymore. And so we're still in prime, like, tourist season.
Right.
And so there wasn't a lot to choose from.
And we're happy. We're happy with paying that. So
Yeah.
it fits our needs.
It's in a sweet little neighborhood that has all the shops and everything also, and it's only a 15-minute walk from our Airbnb to the city center. And so I feel like super excited about that. And then we were going to use our Airbnb as our base in Florence to be able to kind of go explore all the Tuscany area. Yeah. Okay, so I feel like we did good in Italy.
Well, you say we. I think you did good.
Well, we do have a couple of, like, so the cruise is expensive.
Right.
Venice is expensive, but I feel like in Florence and Tuscany we did.
It'll all average out.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Istanbul then.
Okay.
Or let's talk about Turkey.
Turkey.
And in Turkey, we're going to be staying in 3 places: Istanbul, Cappadocia, and
Antalya.
Yeah. So we'll start with Istanbul. So in Istanbul, we'll be there 2 separate times. And the first time we booked, actually both times we booked using our IHG points.
Right.
So this year will be our first year where we're actually using these
the
points. Yeah. So the first time we're staying, we booked just sort of a basic IHG hotel, nothing super fancy, but the location is right in the heart and center of everything. And so that total price was 58,000 points, and we had those points. And so that worked out to about 14,500 points a night. And I think that we get breakfast included here. So that's a nice little deal. With IHG, remember, you book 4 nights and the 4th night is always free. Or you book 3 nights, you pay for them, and the 4th night is free. So they just kind of average the cost out over that. So this is a basic one, but in a really, in the Old Town area of Istanbul. Then when we come back again to Istanbul, we kind of went the opposite direction. So we booked an expensive IHG hotel, and it works out to about 38,000 points a night. And so it's 151,000 points for the 4 nights, but it's a very bougie, fun and fancy hotel.
It'll be fine.
in a totally different area. So it'll be nice to experience a different area there also. Okay, so that's our 2 times in Istanbul. We're strictly staying on IHG points. All right, a bucket list destination for me, not necessarily for you. What do you think about Cappadocia?
I have no idea. It's just a funny name to say, Cappadocia.
So bucket list for me, and Rick is, so Cappadocia is known for, it's really mountainous. It's got beautiful.
Oh, this is the balloon. I do not go in a hot air balloon.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm hoping that by the time we get there that I'll be able to change his mind on that. But even if we don't go on a hot air balloon.
We will not go on a hot air balloon. I will videotape Daphne taking off, and you can say whatever you want to say in the comments, but I am not going in a hot air balloon.
Well, okay. Well, we booked an amazing cave hotel, and Cappadocia is known for, like, its cave dwellings. It's got these fairy chimneys. It is just. Again, otherworldly, like it's like nothing I've ever seen before. And then the hot air balloons are sort of a big draw there. And again, if we don't get to go on a hot air balloon, it will still be pretty to watch them. But I am going to try to work on it.
It's going to be beautiful to watch them.
All right. So we booked a honeymoon suite here. So we booked a really nice room in a beautiful cave hotel that has a swimming pool, a beautiful breakfast spread, and then a huge bathtub in our room, which I'm excited about. This one was not inexpensive. We'll be there for a total of 5 nights.
And that's a theme we're saying.
It does seem to be the theme. But the truth is, okay, so the total cost is $1,117 for 5 nights. So that's like $250 a night or so. And if we were at home...
yeah, I mean... We're traveling and we're spending that, so we're fine.
Yeah,
we're fine with it.
We're fine. Okay, so from Cappadocia, 5 nights, $1,117, so like $225 a night for a stunning room.
Right.
Okay. Then we'll be in Antalya in Turkey. And so in Antalya is kind of referred to as the Turkish Riviera. It's on the Mediterranean coast. It's supposed to be absolutely beautiful. But another place people talked about a lot is Fethiye. And so I was trying to decide between Antalya and Fethiye when we were looking at sort of a coastal beach town we wanted to go to. ultimately we ended up deciding to go with Antalya because the airport is in Antalya also. And so I think it was just more for
convenience.
yeah, just made it easier. So people seem to like both. I did hear more people talking about Fethiye recently, and so I was sort of kind of thinking maybe we didn't make the right choice, but for convenience, I feel like it's nice, and Antalya looks beautiful. So in Antalya, we booked an Airbnb, and we are going to be in Antalya for 26 nights. Our Airbnb is just right outside the historic center wall. It's like they say it's less than a 3-minute walk right to the historic center. It's only a 10-minute walk to the beach. And so I feel like we...
kind of good location.
Great location. This is also an older Airbnb. And I was really excited that we got this for the price that we did, because Turkey is going through a situation with Airbnbs right now where they're really limiting the number of nights an Airbnb host can rent out their Airbnb. So prices have really skyrocketed. So for us, for 26 nights on a 4.9 star review Airbnb with 232 reviews, we are paying $1,641. So that's not bad, and it got a small weekly discount of $43. And we'll take it. And anything else about this one? It has all the things that we look for. Right. It's just an older. It looks like I would say it reminds.
We're older too.
We are older. I was going to say right. It reminds me of like being in your grandparents' home, like that warm, cozy feeling. All right, so those are all the places we're going to be staying when we are traveling in Italy and Turkey. So our total cost, you want to do this one?
Well, I don't know. What do we have for our total cost?
So for transportation and accommodations, the total is basically $15,000.
Yeah, it's pretty much $15,000, but you average that over the 5 months. And it's $2,998.
So basically,
under $3,000.
$2 under $3,000.
It's under $3,000 for our accommodations and our transportation.
And keep in mind, our budget every month is $5,000 a month. So we've got to stay under that $5,000, and we have recurring costs at home that we also include in this. So out of that $5,000 comes $500. Well, it's $600 when we include our cell phone.
Right.
So $600 comes off of that. So really, we're looking at having about $1,400 a month to spend on food and fun.
Right.
And I think that Italy is a higher cost destination, and so I'm not sure that we're going to be able to do that. Actually, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. And so it's okay though, because we have Southeast Asia. So everything that we save when we're in Southeast Asia on our $5,000 budget will roll over here to our time in Italy and Turkey.
That's the plan.
So I feel like knowing that we should be okay. But that's why we do our budget review each month. So we'll share with you whether or not that worked out. But it is also nice to think about balancing out those higher cost and lower cost destinations.
Right. And not just eliminating them, but going ahead and doing them and enjoying them. And then in the long run, you find out, wow, we could have, we were able to do that instead of, I wish we would have done that.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing it the right way.
Well, and just to sort of piggyback on that, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to say when we were in Italy in Cinque Terre, I wanted to stay in Lake Como, I wanted to go to Milan. And so we were going to do a little bit more of a fast travel route, but it just wasn't feasible. Like there was no way we could make that work. And so then that's how we ended up on the 2 places we were staying for basically our month at a time. Okay, well, we hope this was helpful. It's a lot of information, but really now this will be our last video about our plans, and then we're going to get busy and get into actually doing
the actual costs.
Yep. So we hope that you'll join us next week as we take you on more of our retired nomad adventures. Yeah.
Until then,
bye.